Shalom Yasharala, Shalom. Kalalayim, Allahayanawa, Yahawah, Bahasham, Yawashi, Bahasham, Qadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who teach well and rule well. Peace and salutation to the Akim, the fellow laborers, the hopeful elect, pushing this truth at risk of their own lives through the four corners of the earth. To the Ak with listening and learning, Shalom. It's your brother Shema from the Pillars of Benjamin camp. Here with another lesson. We'll get right into it. We'll let the scriptures speak, man. But you see this? We see this title here. Pentagon to deploy 3,000 troops to Europe as tensions spike with Russia over Ukraine. Right? All hell's about to break loose. World War III is on our doorsteps. Right? And it's about to get serious out here, man. It's about to get dark. Right? The book of Jeremiah, chapter 51, Salak, verse 11, and it reads, make bright the arrows. Right? What arrows? We're talking about ICBMs, intercontinental ballistic missiles. That's what we're talking about. We're not talking about ancient world arrows. Scriptures here are talking about modern day arrows, nuclear warheads. Gather the shields, right? Arm up. The Lord, all caps, Yahawah, hath raised up the spirit of the kings of the Medes. Right? Who's the king of the Medes? This very time, this very moment, this very time. Putin. Right? And his governing body, his governments, his advisors. Right? For his device is against Babylon, his device. And what's the device? Thermonuclear intercontinental ballistic missiles. Right? Gog and Magog's device. Right, let's get another scripture. Scripture just came to mind. We'll go back to that. Isaiah chapter 56. Right? And the Mosai Yawashi has put this technology in Esau Edom's hand. Isaiah 54 verse 16, and it reads, behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire. Right? The smith. Who's this smith? In the ancient world, a smith was a iron worker, made weapons, swords, battle axes, lances. Right? The modern day smith is these nuclear scientists that bloweth the coals. Right? In the ancient world, that's how these smiths fashioned their weapons. That bloweth the coals in the fire, and that bringeth forth an instrument for his work. What's that instrument? These thermonuclear intercontinental ballistic missiles. And I have created the waster to destroy. Right? The waster are these missiles. To destroy what? Babylon the Great, America the Great. Back to Jeremiah 51 verse 11. We'll read it from the top once again. Make bright the arrows, gather the shields. The Lord, Yahawah, Bahasham Yawashi, hath raised up the spirit of the kings of the Medes. Right? Russia and their rulership. For his device is against Babylon. Right? His device, the thermonuclear intercontinental ballistic missiles, are against America, Babylon. To destroy it. Because it is the vengeance of Yahawah. Right? The Mosai Yawashi has put the spirit on these Edomites, on Gog and Magog, to carry out his work. And what is his work? What is the Mosai Yahawah's desire? To destroy Babylon the Great, America the Great. Because it is the vengeance of Yahawah, the vengeance of his temple. Right? We'll close out. Right? This thing's gonna ramp up. This thing's gonna continue. This thing is nowhere near. This thing is nowhere near done. This thing is gonna ramp up. It's gonna wax worse. And all hell gonna break loose. The book of Revelation, chapter 9, verse 15, and it reads, "And the four angels were loosed, which were prepared for an hour, and a day, and a month, and a year, for to slay the third part of men." Right? And this third part of men is Esau. Right? Right? And what we're seeing right now is the preparation. It says here, prepared for an hour and a day and a month, that's a specific, and a year. That's a specific amount of time. What we're seeing now is a preparation for war to break out. Right? But it's all, everything has its measure. Let's get that. Each prophecy's got to take place. 2 Ezra 4. One won't happen before the other. Right? 2 Ezra 4, verse 37. And it reads, "By measure hath he measured the times, and by number hath he numbered the times, and he doth not move nor stir them until the said measure be fulfilled." Right? The Mosai Yawashi has an order of how these prophecies are going to play out. Right? The Revelation 13, verse 16 on down, the MOTB, that's got to play out. Jacob's trouble's got to play out. Everything has its set time for when it's going to go down. Right? World War III is not going to pop off tomorrow. Right? Everything has its due time and course when it's going to take place, but it is going to happen. And what we're seeing is of the time being prepared for an hour and a day and a month and a year, for to slay the third part of men. Let's read that again. Revelation 9, verse 15. "And the four angels were loosed," right? Angels, the death angels, the angels of destruction, "which were prepared for an hour and a day and a month and a year, for to slay the third part of men." Right? Esau, third part of men. Verse 16. "And the number of the army of the horsemen," these thermonuclear intercontinental ballistic missiles, right, "were 200,000, and I heard the number of them," right, 200 million thermonuclear intercontinental ballistic warheads. Each warhead could fit, numerous warheads could fit in each missile silo. Right? So it's not going to be literally 200 million missile silos, but a total of 200 million warheads will be in the heads of these missiles. Right? Verse 17. "And thus I saw the horses in the vision." This is a vision of John the Revelator. The horses is symbolic of these warheads, right? These thermonuclear intercontinental ballistic missiles, and them that sat on them, having breastplates of fire and of jacinth and of brimstone, and the heads of the horses, right, the warheads, were as the heads of lions, and out of their mouths issued fire and smoke and brimstone. By these three was the third part of men killed," Esau, "by the fire and by the smoke and by the brimstone which issued out of their mouths." Right? So World War III gonna pop off, man. Thermonuclear intercontinental ballistic missiles will strike America the Great, Babylon the Great. Thus saith the scriptures. And Gog and Magog, the Medes, Russia, is going to be an instrumental part. And we see it playing out. We see the prophecies playing out. Stay prayed up. Pray without ceasing. Kwam Yasharala. Wa Abad. Babal.